Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Tamiya 1/35th scale M3 Lee that we've been building. And I finally got my 3D printed part glued onto the model. And that's how it looks like compared to that. I did spray it with the olive drab. I didn't do the pre-shading to it. I did paint the black for the main rollers, and then I painted the silver where the for the return rollers, where the paint would wear off from them, the tracks rolling on it. But the reason why this doesn't match the rest of it is I did a pre-shading on it, and in white in the middle of each panel. I decided not to do that on this one because I want to remember years down the road that this model did not have this. And it's going to be, I'm going to pretend like it had to be replaced. That suspension part was damaged in battle or whatever. It's got a newer part on it. It didn't have the paint fade that the rest of them have on it because it was a new part. And I kind of want to remember that as I bought this kit on eBay, not realizing that somebody had started it. And it was missing this suspension piece if you didn't see the previous videos. And I got a 3D printer and I 3D printed. Took a long time to design that and get that to print right, but I'm happy with the way it looked. It looks pretty much like the rest of it. But that is that. And then the last time I worked on this, you can see the streaking that I did on it. I did that all over the tank. And it's still glossy because I gloss coated it before doing any weathering effects, all the scratches and everything. This thing's going to be all beat up. It's been through some stuff. But after I finish all the weathering and detail and everything, then I'll hit it with a dull coat to take that shine out of it. And it will also darken that up so that it matches. I remember when I first painted this tank, it was as dark as that until I gloss coated it. And then it kind of made it lighten up for some reason. Maybe it's just because it's shiny and the light's reflecting on it different. And I did more of the white pre-shading, heavier on the tops here, and that's why it's the two-tone. That's the look I was going for. I kind of wanted it to look like it was an older tank, been faded a little bit. And in this video, we are going to take some gunmetal color, and we are going to start painting some of these tools. And I also want to try to do some chipping on the back here and on the sides where the crew would jump up on it. I don't want to do the steel color, make it look like it's I think that would be too shiny. So I'm going to do the metal exposed part in the gunmetal color, and then I will do a brown sponge paint over the top of that to simulate that it's rusted over a bit, which is going to be this rust color. I don't think we'll get to the rust because it's going to be we'll probably get to the tool, most of the tool part done, and then hopefully get the sponge chipping done is what I hope to do in this video. So I'm going to go ahead. I've already shook them up off camera, but I have a habit of reshaking things. Doesn't hurt to have it nice and shook up, your paint. So I'll put the cap back on, and we will get the smallest detail brush that I have available. And glasses are going to have to come off. And we will start painting these tools. I actually want, my smallest brush is not a pointed brush, it's kind of weird. So I'm going to use this one. It's a little more pointy. And let's start with this little we'll start with this side and work our way over. That way, hopefully I don't smudge it. This will be interesting to do. They are kind of up a little bit away from the... And that is awfully bright. I think it dries darker though. Yeah, that's even lighter than I would have liked for the chip effect, but we'll get these tools painted. See what it looks like. I don't think I have a darker. I'm glad they're raised a bit off the tank. Making me nervous. So far, not bad. I'm gonna try to keep where they're attached to the tank the green color, the drab, I should say. The detailing, this type of small detail always makes me shaky, I should say, when I'm doing it. So far we're doing alright. If we get some that's outside of the it's on the box, we'll just treat it as a chip, I guess. I'm gonna try not to, I didn't think about it because this isn't protected after I did the oil. Painting on the sides. I just noticed my finger when I grabbed the side of the tank that got a little bit of the paint on my finger for some reason. Now this might be okay for the I think that'll work out okay for the chipping effect, especially if I do the rust over it, if I heavily rust around it. Because I do want it to be kind of realistic. This is actually the first, can't take credit for building this whole model because it was started, like I said, when I bought it on eBay. Somebody had already started it. But I am proud of this barrel. If you hadn't heard the story behind that, it was missing that too. This is actually a toothpick, believe it or not. I kind of got the dimensions and formed it, and it turned out alright. I think if I wouldn't have told anybody, that nobody would have been the wiser. But that was my fault. I was looking at these on eBay and I favorited or whatever, watched them, a few different ones. And this one came up bargain. I paid like 12 bucks for this model. And it was all exciting and everything. And then when I got it, I was like, oh, I wanted to build the whole thing. But all in all, I'd say I lucked out pretty well with the fact that it wasn't missing more than it was. And in case you're wondering, I do plan on rusting the tools up a little bit. This one is gonna be fun. Probably the hardest one to paint. And I am just gonna concentrate on the top of it. I don't think I can get it. Get it painted that well without getting it all over the top of the tank. That don't look too bad, really. Like that. I think that looks alright. Hopefully I'm on camera so you can see. Yeah, not too bad. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit more paint because it's starting to run out here. It's starting to dry on my little palette here. There we go. I like to wipe the bottle off when I'm done. Even though I know that once I put the cap on, it's going to get messed up again. Because when you shake them, they tend to get messy on the tip there. Good deal. I must use the gunmetal for the return rollers on this one. Yeah, and I use silver on my 3D printed one. It is a little bit brighter. I'll probably retouch that up. That clevis part, I'm debating how I want to do that. I might just leave that the drab color. So I don't know when these tanks are coming off the assembly if they're do they throw the tools on and then paint, or do they throw the tools on afterwards? I don't know. Growing up, I was more into airplanes. Always fascinated with World War II airplanes. And I never really got into the ground vehicles until a couple of years ago. Kind of glad I did too. There's some interesting ground vehicles. Yeah, so I don't know that I'm too worried about it getting absolutely perfect on painting these tools, because I can just say they painted the tank after they threw the winch cable on. I think it'll look okay though. Wow, this is going on a lot better than I thought it would. But what I'll probably do is do it this way. And maybe I'll do like a black panel wash over it or something. Just to kind of darken it up a little bit. Maybe that's the better approach. There we go. I'm kind of liking how that's looking. Make sure I don't go too far down so it's off camera. Yeah, I think I'll leave those clevises, or where the loops goes around, whatever you call that. Let's go ahead and get that axe. That part, and then we have our crank. How tough is that going to be to paint the sides of it like I did the other part? It is suspended off the tank a little bit, so maybe. That side. Yeah, that's got latches there. I had to think about it. I had to pull it back and see how it is mounted to the toolbox there. Is that a strap there? Yeah, that's a strap there, so. Just go to there. I'm going to put it up against there like that so I can have my hand down, steady it. Don't break my little, got them little hooks on the back I don't want to break off. Now I think we just need to do the top. Oh no, I missed the end here. There we go. Now we'll get the top. I'm gonna have to get a little more paint on there because it took too long. Yeah, I think a nice put a little bit of the dark panel line accent will give that a really nice two-tone look. Kind of fill in the grooves, especially on the winch part. Well, I really got a bunch on the brush there. I just need a little bit right on the top here. Alright, I feel a lot better now that those tools are done. Awesome. And as you can see, it's not quite solid right there, but I'm going to leave that way. I think that'll give it a good, that'll be a neat effect on there. Because I don't want nothing to look new on it. I want it to be nice and beat up. Oh no, I forgot that bar right there. That'll be fun. Yeah, that one was kind of hidden, huh? Let's see, what's the best way to approach this? Right here? Gotta really concentrate on this one. Especially toward the top here, it gets really thin. And I think I better finish it off this way. That, and then just a little bit. Surprised it didn't have another latch for the. It's got this one little attachment right there. And I think we'll call that good like that. Excellent. But no, I forgot my shovel too. I was gonna do the wood in the middle, the end where you hold wood, because I think them older shovels were like that. But then this part, got that. There we go. Like that. A lot of moving of the model just to get the right. Okay. A little more on the brush, and I'm gonna have to cover you a little bit. To get that part. Try to go from this side. Like that. So there's our shovel. I'm gonna pull that out of the light. Let's see if I missed a spot. Whoa, don't put it in the paint. Kind of got a little bubble there. So I'm going to try to remedy that. Oh, I like that better. There we go. That is our tools. I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush. And a lot of these paints too, when they dry, they tend to change color a little bit. So once it's dry, I'll see, but I do think that would look good with like a panel wash over the top of it, especially the winch line. So there's that. Now, need to do some chipping in the areas that we got to be very careful not to touch our tools. But anyway, like the edges of the toolboxes, and I'm thinking like where the crew would, especially in the back, the sides, the front, the fenders. Fenders going to be banging into stuff. So I definitely want to give them a good chipping. Kind of wish I had a darker. I wonder if I should go with that don't look bad. It's a little brighter than I thought it would be, but why don't we'll give it a shot. And if it's too bright, like I said, I'm gonna rust up over the top of it to try to dull it down. Yeah, I did quite a bit of streaking on that. Looks nice and beat up. Or nice and weathered, I should say, not beat up. Let me look through my colors real quick, see if there's a different color that I want to try. Like a darker. Because it's cast, it's not like it's a sheet metal on your car, bare metal. Usually when I see pictures of them, it's kind of like a dark, kind of a grayish, blackish. But I'm not seeing there's light gray. I had dark gray because that's what I used for the U.S.A. Iowa. I'm thinking of trying that gray. But I'm having a hard time finding it now. Hidden behind all my 3D printed stuff. Oh. Yeah, I bet this is it. We have gunmetal. Yeah, this is it. Medium gunship gray. I think we'll experiment. I do want to paint the machine guns though in the gunmetal. I should have done that before cleaning my brush. I completely forgot about those because I was going to do that in the gunmetal and then dry brush it with black. Is what I was thinking of doing. So, and this got these two there and then one there. If I can just remember not to touch the tools, we'll be good. Flip that up like that. Oh, it kind of flops everywhere, as you notice. Which I'm really surprised when I gloss coated the model. It made the turret stick and the cannon stick. This gun, the whole time, has been flopping about the place. There's that one. And let's see if we can aim you up. Take it easy. Yeah, I was afraid I was going to break that, because that one really got stuck, and especially this bigger cannon. That one took a lot to get that freed back up. I will try not to break my... Oh, what are you doing? Now let's do this. We'll get the undersides of both of these. I'd like to get this side of it. Oh, it's in the air. Like that. Excellent. Now you. Flip it around to the other side and hopefully it don't flop back down. We're done with the little one on top, so it can do whatever it wants right now. And the top of this, get the top of this inner one. That's probably the hardest one to paint. That, I'm actually going to turn this back this way because I forgot the side of this one. Now we can flip it this way and finish it off. And that'll be the 3 machine guns. Like that. We got those. Just a little spot right there. Much better. All right. Now we'll get that gunship gray out and try that. Because I don't want the chipping to be shiny like that. It's going to be, kind of want more rust than the metal exposed. But like I said, from the crew jumping in and out of it, you're not gonna have, or you are gonna have some bare metal showing. So let's get that medium gray and get my little spongy piece. This thing I sponge chipped, I can't remember what it was. Got a little piece of foam there. I might as well just bring this over because I need to dab some off once we dip the sponge in, because we don't want a bunch. Get my tweezers out and got a nice torn piece. Dip it in our gray there, and then we'll dab quite a bit of it off. Then I'd say around here, especially on, I see a lot of photos of it. Oh yeah, that's better. It's very subtle. I like that. Along the leading edges a little bit. I'll try to see how it's doing a little bit there. And then dulling it down a bit with the rust color, I think is going to look good on it. But I see a lot on these this bar thing here is always scratched up on the ones that I see. We'll get that bar. There's little scratches everywhere. Little chips, I mean. On the edges. Get some on the toolbox. This is going to be the hard part, keeping myself from touching it. Oh, that is awesome. I love it. Speed up the more on the, and I'll put it up against the camera again once I'm done. Doing that. Yeah, I don't want to go too crazy, but just on the, I really like that actually. Get some more paint on there. It's gonna be a longer video, but I kind of originally wanted to keep my videos shorter, but then some of my videos I've posted that are longer, I've noticed have gotten more views, actually. More to fast forward through, I guess. Because some parts of it aren't fun to watch, I know. I realize that, but I kind of want to... This is a chronicle, like a log of building the entire model if possible. Not with this particular model, like I said, because it was started already. But just showing the steps involved in it. Let's chip up this front a little bit. Just kind of randomly. That's a big chip. I would think that that would catch the trees. And I plan on this being called M3 Lee in the Trees, so a little bit on the random on the barrel. Fenders usually take a lot of abuse. We're going to give that chip a lot of that up. I see these front things usually chipped up too on these. And these pieces here. Yeah, I like how that fender turned out. So this is going to be M3 Lee in the Trees. This is the diorama. What I'm going to call the diorama anyway. I could just do this instead of wasting it on the... So it would naturally get beat up in the front like that, going through all that, the shrubs. Awesome. That was a little bit too much. I'm going to take and wipe that off. I was waiting for the moment I was gonna overdo it. And it does, it just wipes right off with a Q-tip. Gotta love that. Reposition on my deal here. I'm gonna bat some of that off because I did kind of put it in heavy. Kind of get these driver ports and the little bit up here. Awesome. Now it's getting harder to find a spot to grab the model to turn it. I would think the back would be... There we go. I like that better. And then up here. And then we'll hit the cupola a little bit. Chip that up. Probably the most happiest with the fenders in the toolbox. But this part tends to be really... That should be really chipped up because that's where they're jumping in and out. I still have to get my I think I painted the commander. I kind of did a lot of the chipping detail on with the brush initially. Did a lot of scratching with a lighter color green and rust color. I want to get a little bit more on here and get that cupola looking a little bit better than that. There we go. Kind of soften it. There, that's got the scratch up that I want. Anything else? And I might do a little more weathering off camera too. It's just so... Time flies when you're model making. I think I'm going to be happier with that darker gray than having the lighter stuff. Alright, give it one more swing around here. We need to do something else here. This is way too clean. Chip that up a little bit. Really like the fender. And I guess I didn't really do much here, did I? Do some random, just a few random chips. Same with here. I like to chip around these. It is starting to look like a war-torn vehicle now. Alright, I think I'm going to call that the video. And I might, like I said, do a little more chipping. But bringing it up, kind of chipped up quite a bit around where the commander sits there. We got our tools all painted. Did some chipping in the back there. And also we are going to do the rust brown. Once all this dries, we'll do the rust over all this area that we just did to tone that down quite a bit. But chipped up the fenders, got the streaking going on, and then we'll do that in the next video. We'll get the rust chipped, and then I'll probably we'll probably do that and maybe start doing some. We're not going to really muddy up the bottom here, but we're going to have it so that it's got like dried mud in here and a little bit packed on the suspension pieces. Nothing too heavy, because this is going to be basically a, like I said, going through a wooded area. It's going to be grass, but it also seen some rainy, muddy days, so we'll do that. And I might even do a mist coat with like a dust color over the entire model to give it kind of a dusty appearance too. So, but I think we'll call that the video. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.